when Stephen Porges was going to write his book about love, I found out that he didn't because the publishers told him people don't want to hear that love is secure attachment. They want drama. And so he didn't write his book with his wife, who are both academics, researchers, and more. In the meantime, the 5D Collective know all about the ventral vagal state, and that's why we do know that love more powerful than fear, but you'll know it when you choose it. You'll choose it when you choose yourself to be yourself open hearted. Okay, so those who are securely attached, non traumatized, those who are using mindfulness mindset, mystics and not, those who are able to know we are crooked, we are all sinners, and that's why stop talking about Lucifer, blasphemy, anyone from the medieval times, but we also know that they won't welcome us. So polyamory, they're all considered whores or unfaithful or women who don't want children, how horrible, or women who don't want to get married per se. Again, so ancient human beings have a place in the group of people who don't want to heal trauma. In fact, they also deny healthy, embodied, restorative life by actively not understanding topics with Peter Levine and Stephen Porges, Basil van der Kolk, Pat Ogden. They deny a bunch of researchers and information. I'm attachment trauma informed. So again, just trying to make sure you stick around if you are part of our collective. The 5D frequency coherence is something you have the capacity to be in if you have a whole self, because your whole self is the body and the heart with the gut that is leading with a ventral vagal state. So I'm able to be non-reactive in almost pretty much any circumstance. In fact, it's good practice. I can tell you all about it. That's why we talked about half-safe people yesterday. You're not reactive when you are an empowered feminine, my body, and your own empowered masculine, divine, not divine, doesn't matter. But when you are overflowing in your humanity, Sadhguru will tell you divinity descends. Open-heartedness will tell you it's not divinity, doesn't have to be. It can be just pure consciousness, because I have an integrated brain, and if you learn about interpersonal neurobiology, you'll understand exactly the 9 domains of integration, how it works, and all that. So myself is a verb, and she's consistently expanding. And the ventral vagal state is a physiological and psychological state characterized by calmness, relaxation, and social engagement. It is part of the polyvagal theory, Stephen Porges, and he's still proving it. So you'll find that it says not proven, which is why people have ways to tell you not to believe in good data. In the meantime, what I also wanted to talk about with this lovely topic of love, in addition to us embodying love because of living the restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating life, thanks to daily mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices, that's mystic, spiritual, and mindful living and loving people, the empowered couples, there's that fine line between couples nourishing each other and being able to take care of themselves to a degree so that they can be in contact. Pat Ogden, PhD. So people who are safe partners, it's because we welcome each other with our higher self, our true self. So we welcome conversation. We don't accuse. We don't get triggered and say, you're manipulating, you are selfish, we talked about this yesterday, you are so thoughtless. Anyone who's reactive needs Terreal so they can get out of the adaptive child part, the child's version of what a grown-up should look like, but really the triggered part, as Patrick Tan would point out, that comes from their past. That comes from their 0-8-year-old. Okay, so unfinished business is what people who charge at another person and begin to say, you're thoughtless, you didn't do that, because they're not handling their own self, but there's reasons for it. So when someone has had trauma, these individuals wear a mask. What do you need to feel safe enough to bring down the mask at a pace that feels comfortable to you? Ruth Lanius. So some, again, in their close, especially romantic, that's the moment of when you have healthy self-worth, self-accepting. I am crooked and flawed, so are you. I am a sinner, so are you. But I forgive, and I will turn the cheek, and I will know how to address you with a tone that is ventral vagal state. That's an empowered man-woman day. So I won't be turning around and insulting you. I will be able to notice that your mood is a reflection of something that does not involve me, and that I will wait until a good moment to be able to talk. Okay, so as you empower each other, that's the part of where some people will welcome this and they become their own restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating person in their ventral vagal state. Some will not, and modulated embodied people aren't any different than Cusco and Pacha's dynamics. So I have plenty of facade people that I've shared stories about. They're not obviously building a home, because to build a home, if you are ventral vagal state, meaning that you love who you are, how you are, you're consistently in a expanded mood. A person who doesn't want to welcome their own ventral energy won't want consistently to go and be with you. Their actual body fights it, and that's the part of why it's unconscious. The pain is inside, but it's too scary to show that pain and too shameful to show that pain. So frequently traumatized individuals walk around with a mask. Ruth Lanius, MD, PhD. And so again, I do know that the heaven within the body, the kingdom of God, enlightenment, and the seat of enlightenment from a spiritual and spirituality perspective, faith, all of it, you bring it in. I use the words, but they can be interchangeable, but obviously it's different than the human elements, which are subject matters of all societal culture, sociology, social studies, humanities, neuroscience, okay? But unlike what people do with the esoteric stuff, which they bring you stories for spiritual, my mystic spirituality, Sadhguru is my spirituality go-to. Maria's mystic subjective experience are what I bring to you. So when I hear somebody telling you that love is more powerful than fear, but they are actively not living the expression of pure consciousness, they're not yet in that. They're an adaptive child version. And the reason I can say that is because the minute you tell someone, it's thanks to my subliminal messages that you can tap into the higher self of you, and that I am the reason why you can access source and spirit, and however it is they want to word it, they could, excuse me? Okay, that's ego. That's a distorted feminine. You're distorted, and yes, you will capture all the masculines that have not empowered themselves, because you know what a masculine is? It's a left brain that's by itself, that isn't creating an integrated brain. And what you have is a not securely attached person. It's an insecure human being who, like the flat earthers, need to be in a group. They're motivated by bonding. And I should remember that. So everybody is motivated by something different. I'm a self-agent. I'm autonomous. I independently self-regulate in my happy bone, with or without you. With or without you, yeah. If we are together, it's because you are someone who adds to my life. And then I tell you how I work and who I am, and I will add to your life. That's a consistency. I don't take. No, I don't have let me poke. I have you fly. And that's always. And if you're down, I get to lift you up. Now, if you push me and you do something in a way that's not a secure partnership, I'm going to ask, what's going on? I don't understand. Okay, so secure partners, we lift each other up. That's why love is free. It's unconditional. The ones who need to learn first how to love themselves first. That's why it's important to get Terry Real, because he has conditions and boundaries for you, because he teaches you how to have healthy boundaries and love yourself, and to reparent, even though he doesn't use the same words. Patrick Tiahan helps a person to become their inner child adult. Here we are having a good time as functional child adults, and or some who will get here. You enjoy love, you enjoy Jesus, God. You don't have to believe, of course, but Jesus is someone that I definitely will continue to bring forth, as well as God. Akash, Anima Mundi. I'm a mystic, I'm spiritual, and I am of faith, although I know not everybody welcomes me. And that's the part of where they can keep casting their stones. I'm sad that they do, but I understand that cognitive dissonance and structural dissociation are really hard for people to handle. So they would rather follow those who are fancy in their suits, especially because they think that it means that they have stature. Remember, what I'm wearing and how I talk is everything. Let me make sure to sit properly. Is that eloquent enough for you? Do I need to do any more? Love is more powerful than fear, and you choose it when you choose to be yourself, and you own, observe, witness, narrate your mind, brain, body. Had you met me as a teenager, I would have thought that the proper manners were important because they taught me, if you want a job and if you want this, make sure to do da 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 da. Okay. And I got to start learning how all of that, which those grown-ups informed me of, was not really accurate at all. So as I got to probably mid-20s, late 20s, thinking by then, yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, it's not what you're wearing or how you're talking or any of that that's going to get you anywhere. It's really two-sided and two-folded and two everything. Love and relationships are easy for the 5D mystic, spiritual, and mindful person because we are secure in being our true self. So you have the higher self, bilateral, vertical, overall integration, and what partnerships are for real, and that's all. But romantic, in no way, shape, or form will anyone who is a securely attached person think that you putting me down is actually romantic or loving. I will be able to address it with my feelings. I might even be crying, but I'll address it and I will definitely consider all of it. But luckily for me, I'm not unlucky when it comes to my gut. It's a very good one. And in fact, I consistently can tell you love is one of the emotions that expands. I have not grown less loving. I've grown more loving and not less more unconditional. In fact, the scientists, they give me ways to tell you, no Lucifer, no evil in the way of the books. In the way of people needing therapy, yes, definitely yes, all of them. But the 7 to 14, well, they're not charming to me, but you better bet I see the Peter Pans and Lost Boys following their Wendy's around, and they're all having a good time on Pinocchio's Island as they turn into donkeys and, pixie dust. So it's going to be fascinating. Come on over, 5D Collective. We already know what they're calling us. I do remember what Jesus stands for, by the way. And it's an honor to have been raised with him and to keep him with us, even though we are rejected, quote unquote. I would say it's not rejection and it's not protection. It's that, again, there are minds that do not capacitate that which is science. And then they spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you. So God told me to leave alone the human suffering, and I'm trying to do it, God, so I'm just sharing. It's caring. We live and love as secure attachment mystics, so love is supporting each other to fly. Love lifts you up when you're down, and it soars the skies with you when you're up. Love is always there, and spiritual, mindful, and again, mystics are there for each other, and we don't tell each other how to think of spirit, God, source, universe, Akash, or how to explain your clairs, or how to explain your intuitiveness, or how to talk about, no, we come together and are curious, open, accepting, and loving. So that's what emotionally open, vulnerable people are. And with an open heart, we also have an open mind, and our mental, emotion, physical mastery is what we are very much intrigued by. So thanks to an integrated brain and a higher self, Maria doesn't have anybody who can come and shame me. And also because my mother taught me what those rude people are. They're all rude. And God told me what humility is and to follow his son. And I learned what it was to not cast a stone, which is why I don't do characterological distinctions. Also, when you meet the wise ones, you remember that consciousness expands thanks to the frequency of love and the frequency of fear. And therefore, as long as we are still embodying, pure consciousness incarnate is in flesh for reasons. Restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people will have heaven in the body. They navigate the 5D frequency because we navigate in our ventral energy. And the people who don't want it, they don't have to have it. Anyone difference in the self-have my life now. Everyone has laundry. Enlightenment frequency is not possible. Then again, Robert Sapolsky with Determined says that we have no free will. So, I mean, for all we know, there is only a select number of individuals who will be non-traumatized, securely attached, with healthy self-worth, know how to metabolize consistently the emotions that come up and thoughts because we sift with mindsight. Oh, look, I have feelings. Oh, look, I have thoughts. Oh, look, they're not irrefutable facts. Oh, look, I can talk about them with someone. Yay. Oh, look, we got information. Come together. Let's get together. Yeah. So that's what we do. Daily mindfulness practices, mindset skills, and the inner growth mindset. They have us all maintaining equanimity, unconditionally loving, healthy, self-regulating life, and our funny bone. So you love to love and live and laugh and learn, and you expand thanks to, again, securely attached, functional inner child adults. who self-regulate independently of relationships or whatever events are happening outside of us. That's because your body and mind and your brain and yourself are mindfully your own, the truer higher self of you, the truer, not the paused fake one, but it's okay. The fake ones, they know, I'm this. You're right. I'm so sorry. I love you, doomsdayer and doer and hostile, but I really do wish you would learn of Patrick Jan, because also the please appeaser are we good and ghosts, you could really be great with him. He would totally help you to get out of that. But hey, if you're okay with that and you don't want to anchor into ventral, I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so let me conclude with a couple of things that I wanted to actually share. When you have love and partnership that is meant to support you in life and in any of those endeavors, so fulfilling that which is your own inner heart and your own inner mind, but that's only when, again, you have healthy, self-empowered people interacting. What I have seen a lot of people not know how to do is be their functional inner child adult. I know why I'm here as a 3-year-old. Again, my body, as Peter Levine, Stephen Porges, Bessel van der Kolk, Daniel Siegel, bunch more will have taught me that, and Robert Sapolsky determined, by me being able to have a 0-1-year-old and a 3 to 7-year-old, that I can to this day tell you about my explicit memory and or implicit, and know what motivates me and know what my emotions are, but having also interoception. It's not at all hard to just say, here's who I am. I don't perform. And that's because I was taught self-respect, and then I was also not broken as I got rejected at 4 by boys, and then I got disowned at 8, and then I got, broken up with by boyfriends as time moved forward. I didn't do the love doesn't exist. And that's not, no, love exists. Of course it does. Everybody has a different story. And when they did what they did with the twin flame thing, I thought that was just so, it pissed me off is what it did. Is they started to offend the oversoul, the other part of the oversoul. But I'm going to leave that alone. I understand today a lot of those who have clairs, they are using their left mode alone. They are in their temporal junction. They use their amygdala because their frontal lobes are flopped down. And so they're not growing the insula with the neuroplastic agent of imagination. No, they're growing their amygdala. While I'm growing my insula because Maria uses her prefrontal cortex. That I can explain to you. Because I'm in a physiological state of compassion. Because I delight in being Maria. Now you can tell me I'm a piece of shit all you want. And if we are partners, that won't fly, obviously. That's the part. You're going to be a partner if you respect your partner. Means you can walk a walk and talk a talk with her, him, they next to you. And if somebody in any way, shape, or form comes in the room in a way that is unnecessary, there's definitely going to be a stance of a ventral vagal, at least for the empowered ones of us, but also potentially getting into it, getting involved. That's, though, something that nobody ever really thinks about wanting. You don't want that. And usually if you're people who are equanimous, means you're going to be able to recognize stuff and situations. However, there are moments where you don't. So I've had people in the past, and this is one of my, way back when, as we're getting ready to go out, he tells me not to be Maria, basically. He tells me not to speak about the topics that I'm speaking about, to not da-da-da-da. And I look at him and I say, what? And I wasn't thinking about it as disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. It's just like, what? That is not what I was expecting for you to come at me with. And I was yelling at him, I'm sure, because at the time I wasn't yet mastered in my ventral vagal state as much as I am now. And also because as you get to go through life, because that was 2004 or 2003, who knows? No, 2003, 2000, yeah. Long story short, I've gotten a lot more ventral vagal state since then is what I'm trying to get to, but I won't do yelling in your face. No, I will firmly address, if you keep doing this, and this is another thing, I am going to cease all forms of interaction. But the thing about our nervous systems is that they pick up on each other. And so as you grow more empowered with your ventral vagal state in a restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating life, I am using words because that's what this is. People think you have no emotions or you're pretending. They don't know because they didn't get over the hump like that Zen master. Nor will a lot of people who think that their little fists make them strong. Your visceral doesn't make you strong. What makes you empowered is the capacity for you to wield your brain so that you may bring down that prefrontal and navigate the waves of the ocean. We can thank the panic attacks, by the way. That actually, I forgot about that one. So one of the moments, this was very, very interesting. I am actively in the midst of one when I choose to address something, and I just say this to me. I say, okay, it's not the most ideal moment, Maria. And I say, okay, but you know what? If I go in it with the intent to have a conversation, I think I'm okay. And if I go in it without any expectation, I think it'll be fine. In fact, it was. I didn't get the conversation, but I did get an interaction. And this is how you stay grounded even while you're having a panic attack, because of me being able to have prefrontal. Now, some say it's our DNA that could potentially lead to why I have a bigger window of welcome or tolerance to the depths of the emotional plane, just so you know. And that's why Robert Sapolsky and any sciences person can explain to you all why some of us can handle more deep emotions. And that's also why maybe the Zen master doesn't have the capacity physiologically to handle the depths of his emotion the way I can. I actively can understand that, which is where, though it's not about mysticism, Zen master, no, it's his physical body. If it potentially is DNA, his nervous system doesn't handle as much emotion. And this, again, I learned from smart people. So anyways, love is about love, and that's why the oxytocin gene hormone is on, and that means I can sit with you in every way, shape, and form and have beautiful, passionate debates with you without insulting anyone and without doing your manipulating, your thoughtless, your selfish, those are things that happen when people are in a mood that is not something that needs to be used, but they're the only ones who can get themselves out of the maladaptive patterns of behavior, an adaptive child pattern of behavior that they will have gotten because that's how they were addressed. It's a personal choice to get out of using a specific type of verbiage, but also mannerism. The reason people think it's not emotional is because it's calm. But the depths of you, when you're equanimous, it's amazing because you are actively, mentally, emotionally, and physically your own master. But you can only do this with your higher self. As long as you have exiles, protectors, and parts of you that you have not welcomed back. So if I say you're crooked, and that's a trigger, that's because there's shame there. If somebody says you're crooked, and they have, I say thank you so much for your time. It's been a great pleasure. I think I should go, right? Because, you don't like me. And only a couple of times have I been more concerned about, okay, I need to go. I'm 4'9". I won't be able to handle this if this gets out of hand. And that's where I wasn't trying. I just happened to be in a certain amount of, I'm not going to get into details, but my long story short is, luckily for me, I got to learn all about the adolescence and how to be a good gut reader with my healthy self-worth and to pick those who I expand with, and it's always gone good. But half safe people, again, they're not half safe to those of us who are in our ventral vagal state, because the past self person, like my facade friend, will be the mask that they've decided to wear. So they're just going to be the protector, and excuse me, confusing science, spirituality. So that is choice of fear, because they're not expanding, growing, integrating. But again, it is a personal choice. You are the one who can choose self-compassion to understand how to get out of the I'm not defective, I don't have to work hard feeling, but that it'll take time and patience, because at the end of the day, the pain is inside, but it's too scary to show that pain and too shameful to show that pain. So frequently traumatized individuals walk around with a mask. Ruth Lanius, MD, PhD. Also, traumatized individuals often wear masks What do you need to feel safe enough to bring down that mask at a pace that feels comfortable for you? Ruth Lanius, MD, PhD. Let me add that. It's important, I know, for them. And I don't know if I already read it, but this one is ideal for our topic on love, because all you need is love. Ding, 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 ding. All you need is love. Love, if I can grab it. Here it is. That there is a fine line between couples nourishing each other and being able to take care of themselves to a degree so that they can be in contact. Pat Ogden, PhD. And anybody who is a functional inner child adult or is looking to be in that will be able to bring forth the best of each other. And that's what actually is even more amazing, is that we lift each other up higher. And even when we're down, we lift each other up. And for societal circumstances, it's not based on gossip. It's not based on trending topics. It's not based on shallow thinking. It's not based on yesterday's news. And so if somebody wants to continue with the discourse of characterological distinctions because they've decided that there's a right or wrong way to be in life, we leave it alone. Because what there is called integrity. And what I will do will be, I won't be ashamed of me. And then I will be able to talk about why polyamory is not unfaithful, but that it is consensual non-monogamy. If I want, if you're already attacking me, I'm not going to talk much about it. That doesn't typically happen though, because usually as grown-ups, that's not something that... If you're meeting a person who doesn't take offense. So I got this one dude, he's like, so can I kiss you? No. So can I fuck you? No. Oh, so you're traumatized? No. I'm not offended, and I actively enjoyed being able to have the interactions because, I mean, why not? It's a person who seems to not know what polyamory is at all. But then I got this other dude, he does, you're all masochists. And I said, not the healthy self-worth one, but that's hard. Well, you did choose to live a life that your parents, right? The job. So, you know, again, it's more of, wow, a lot of people don't really know about topics or how to handle, and we get to create conversations. Others are empowered by conversations. They're curious. So, yeah, we don't do societal stigmas. The only way you move beyond taboos and stigmas is if you can laugh and consistently engage. Laughing is important. And you don't laugh at people, meaning you're laughing because you're joyous. So they might be confused. This is where people feel confused, skeptical. It doesn't matter. I've been in many situations where, because I smile, those who are on another end of the spectrum might not really understand what's going on. But my smile is because I'm not upset. My smile is because you haven't done anything. I am flawed, imperfect, and a sinner. Yeah, not in the medieval times, and you're not God. So all of that is where the equation is any human being who wants to try and shame another is a shameful, shamed, unfortunate, traumatized person who could use a Patrick Chahan or Terry Real. That's about it. Because my mother taught me self-respect and what a person who shame on them is going to look like, sound like, and to go and, you know, so I repeat, because the 3-year-old of me is who you see participating in all of this, that I'm a whole higher self, and there's Maria. And as a grown-up, it's even more than when I was a kid. And it's kept growing more and more. And so to this day, someone looks at me and tells me something, you won't see me flinch. What neutral and positivity do to people who have insecurity, yeah, it don't look good inside. Outside, they won't be able to do much because at most they're going to get a bit of an attitude. But when you're non-reactive, you don't get into an attitude. And you also don't feel as a person of source, spirit, God, Akash. I know that I was meant to also encounter you. So there's a difference between a person who's like a Terry Real, who's a technical and sciences man, and telling you about conditions. So he's expecting to be in a specific dynamic, or I shouldn't say expecting, but he's shared stories before where I saw him talk about the interactions that he has with people who don't have healthy boundaries. As he's a relational mindfulness practitioner, that's what he teaches the therapists. I have a course with him that I haven't done yet. But my point is, for me, it's a fun game. Excuse me, you're confusing science spirituality. I'm having a good time while I'm trying to talk about, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm not reason enough to be saluted. That was the most quote unquote annoying of situations, but I still had a good time. And in another situation, I was completely interrogated and without realizing it, well, I guess we can agree that it was a waste of time. And I said, oh, no, it wasn't, because you've shared with me your perspective. But at the end of the day, I find out that this person completely misunderstood everything. And it's because they are closed minded, not because I used the wrong words. And so even here, when you have people bringing to you any type of equation, if you're empowered, you're not going to be taken off guard, because you can twist the word here or there. If you begin to get upset at me, I will take 2 steps back, try to address it, not trying to get you upset. You might still be upset. You might still try to wield those words. It's a poker's hand. There's no blind spots for a person, though, who's seen poker hand after poker hand after poker hand after poker. I mean, it's really just another one bites the dust. What else are you going to come up with today? And that's where intellect and intelligence and everything that is beyond my wildest imaginations. I never thought that I would be able to explain so many things about how to be that have in the body, how to be love, how to be yourself the way that now I can, because of thank you to the smart researchers, of course. And so we will be back with more. And again, secure attachment, non-traumatized. Those of us who want to metabolize our emotions and our thoughts with the love frequency. Not everybody wants it. We have love and fear. They continue to exist. And that's consciousness expands. The sweet spot is always achieved. And in fact, our human evolution, we are in the midst of the societal culture changing, universally new accepted concepts such as spirituality and mysticism, and science being able to join us, though. So yes, there's a merging of sciences and spirituality in the most amazing of expansive ways for those of us who blend with them. And that's because we use 2 sides of the brain, and we know they don't cancel each other out, because the right brain is what sits with sciences and spirituality, while the left brain allows us to organize it. And because we're not doing right or wrong, since we are bilaterally integrated and our default mode network is downregulated, we say, no, we don't have to even say left brain. You can pause, as Dr. Daniel Siegel informed me in one of my courses, because the left will say, if you're telling me that the sky is blue and red, then one of the 2 is true. So he explains why people who are non-bilaterally integrated tend to not be able to have 2 things touching. And so I'm giving you an explanation. Also, they usually don't work together. They only will work together if you're the one who begins to allow yourself to have that. But you have to be able to have access to your body. If you, on the other hand, have child parts that are not healed, and there's structural dissociation, and then there's triggers and charges, and you don't take ownership like the Zen master, we have a different situation. And again, expanding. I will leave you now. Thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And remember, love is there to support each other to become the best version of ourselves. You are only going to become the best version of you with your higher self, because you will have tended to that which is your own nervous system, and to become your safe haven, secure base. However long it takes. As our lovely Patrick Tian points out, it's not by Boca Raton trips that you're going to get your inner child healed. It's actually with the psychoeducation and doing something with people who can spot you and you spot yourself. Because the part about people not taking ownership is where it needs to be, you name it to tame it, the inner critic and outer critic. And you move into becoming an adult of your inner child. I'm a functional child adult because I didn't lose any part of me. With personality disorders, Dr. Daniel Fox, and that when I tip my hat to Kylie, who's healing. She's in remission from borderline, and she's healing narcissism, and she continues to stand up for herself in a good way, meaning authentically, while she gets hate mail. Meantime, we got people using their sociopath diagnoses to say, copy me, and that's the other end of the spectrum. Plenty of people copy that person. Kylie, on the other hand, talks about how when it was borderline, many more followers. Once she got the narcissist diagnosis and she's authentically healing, less followers, more hate mail, and less interaction, which shows people how a group of individuals who will care to continue doing that which is the, again, healthy, thorough, just chit chat, is going to be on one end. I don't believe it's a minority. I believe that it's a nice split, because the other side exists for reasons too. And the difference, though, is that our group comes together because we support every single one of the differences, and no shouting. And no, it's not all or nothing. We don't do black or white, yes, no, right, wrong. You don't get charged. That's the point of why we get all together. We bring it all in, and we appreciate our lovely other side, because guess what? Without their stories, we wouldn't have entertainment, but also we wouldn't have important data points, because some of them, it's not entertainment. Some of these people are actively devoted in such a way that without their contribution, the enamored with themselves and the one focused, we would be missing a lot of piece of information. That's why when you incarnate that pure consciousness, which is an unconditionally loving brain that's consistently assimilating data in a way of wow, more. I want more information, more data, more Maria Florio seriousness. I'm not even joking. I love learning shit all the time. It's the one thing that I'm like, I don't know that. Damn it. If only I had known that. So my point is, though, that we make use of all the information out there, accept all, reject none. So looking forward to being back with you all again soon. Again, thanks for stopping by.